That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Welcome back to the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And this week, this is not episode 41, as we had said last week.
Psych!
Psych! Sorry, things have happened, and we had made a switch at the last moment. But you guys should appreciate it, because this is something that we've done throughout our whole time doing this show, is that we do the top 5 moments of Stone Cold's career. We break down year by year. So as we finish a year, like 96, 97, and now we just finished 98, and we want to bring that to you. And we're bringing that to you for a reason. We're going to be upfront and straight about it. We had a fucking crazy-ass storm in New England last night, and JV and I were just set to do episode 41, covering January through February, leading up to St. Valentine's Day Massacre. But we had like 4 storms back to back, lightning, thunderstorms.
It was crazy.
Yes. My house shook for a moment during one of those lightning strikes. So we're like,
house shook, got water in the basement.
I got water in my basement. So we decided early on, like right before we were about to start, like, nah, we're not even going to start, because we saw, like, I'm sitting in my room where I do this, my little den, which has become my fucking girls' playroom, basically. I got fucking Paw Patrol toys all over the place.
You got a small spot in the corner.
Yeah, I say it's my room, but it's fucking their room.
Yeah.
It's like, it's funny because I'm looking at one side, there's Paw Patrol toys, then I look into the other corner, and I got my whole Stone Cold collection in his box, and in the box, I got Stunning Steve Austin with Brian Pillman. I even got the Joker hanging on by the ledge there, because I like him making, he's crazy a little bit, so he's going to be hanging on. So I got him over there, so it's like my toys versus the kids' toys, and they're just constantly taking over my room. That's one thing. That's like in my own mind. It's like I'm fighting against these girls taking my room over, and I know one day it's going to be their room.
Yep, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right, and I'm hanging on. And it's funny, like the days that I record, like, all right, girls, you got to clean up because Papa needs to work tonight. He's going to work tonight. He's going to record an episode tonight. It's like, okay, let's clean up. So anyway.
That's funny. It's cute, though.
So, that whole fucking process is going on. Like I said, I'm in my little room, and I see the lights just fucking flashing out the windows. Like, holy shit. And JV and I are like, yeah, we're not recording. Because if we try to record and something happens, well, guess what? We're going to do it all again tomorrow. So,
yeah,
it's now tomorrow, and we get to the point where our provider, what we use for recording, was fucking up a little bit. And, based on our schedules, we got a lot of shit going on. So all the editing and stuff for our Wednesday release is not going to get done on time unless we get started. So we had this in the books before, marked up for, actually it was a couple of weeks ago we were supposed to do this and do our top 5 of 1998. So we said, hey, let's do our top 5 of 1998 for this week, and we'll get back on track with episode 41 next week. So that's what we're doing, guys. So we're constantly putting out content for you. Hey, and I'm going to tell you, January through February, yes, we want you to listen next week, but it's not the best shit.
No.
So, hey.
I like 1998.
Yeah, let's talk about 1998 a little bit this week. So, without further ado, I'm Mike Prue, along with JV. JV, we had a fucking good weekend this weekend. We finally got to get together for for a while. It's been a while. We talk every week here doing the podcast and talk about the show and getting situated for the show, but not often do we have time in our lives to just get together, hang out. And we did it this weekend, and it was fucking amazing time.
Our annual golf tournament.
Yes.
That we play in with my brother and the Bruins Warrior.
The Bruins
people
Warrior.
out there.
Yes. The Bruins Warrior is a takeoff of the Ultimate Warrior. If you ever watch the Bruins on NESN, New England Sports Network, there's a guy that has been dressing
or
as
NBC Sports. He's everywhere now.
Yes,
during the playoffs, he was on ESPN and all sorts of shit.
Oh yeah, he's all over now. But our boy, we grew up with Lenny Dutra. He's been known as the Bruins Warrior, and we've been in this tournament with him the past 4 years. This is the 4th annual Scotty's Pub tournament. So if you're ever coming through 195, heading to Providence, Rhode Island, or even to New York, coming from the north, wherever the fuck you're going, but it's a main stop in Fall River, Massachusetts, right off the highway.
Can't miss it.
The great thing about Scotty's Pub on the highway is you can get off the highway, get there real quick, stop for a few drinks, and then just go right across the street, get back on the highway, and boom, you're gone. It's like nobody even knew you're in Fall River, Massachusetts. Cops won't even notice shit. You can just gone. Like
I've never thought of it this way, but it's like the perfect spot. Unless the bar is actually on the highway itself and you pull out when you're on 195. He's got the most primo spot you can literally have.
It's the best spot for a drunk guy to go driving.
And we don't condone that at all.
No, I don't, but that's the safest thing for a drunk driver, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It's funny.
So that's what we did this weekend, and the funny thing about this golf tournament is like, man, we sucked the past couple years, man. We're just out there hacking. We even had the joke the whole time that we are the what was our nickname?
The Bogey Monsters.
The Bogey Monsters, yeah. We're gonna get the T-shirts next year with the Bogey Monsters, and even now that we know what happened, is that we definitely need to be the Bogey Monsters. But we thought we did pretty good, and I think we did do pretty damn good. We did the best that we did in the past 3 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we were under. We were under 4.
No, we were 2 over.
2 over. Yeah, +2 then. +2. Or
yeah,
plus two.
+2.
Yeah, we're +2.
On 18, which is really good for us because I mean, even if I play alone, I don't shoot 2 over. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy good golf for me.
All right, so we're not saying we're like pros. We're just guys that go out every once in a while, play some golf. Yeah. And this time, the 4 of us that just go out and play some golf every once in a while, hey, we hit that. Like that's pretty damn good. Past couple of years, we just left.
Hey, the best part is, I'll let you. Well, before you get into it, so we finished last, just to get to the point quickly. But the worst
with that though.
The worst part about finishing last is that right before they announced the winner, we looked at each other. I think it was you that said, "Well, at least we know we didn't finish last." And then Scotty gets on stage and he's like, "And the winners of the lowest, the last place," and he's like, "Patrick Viveris, my brother," and called out the rest of us. And then we got this little trophy. It looks like a toilet bowl.
It is. Well, not looks like
it is a toilet bowl.
Toilet bowl.
It is a toilet bowl. The fuck am I talking about? It's like a brass, like shitty colored fucking toilet bowl.
Yeah. Fucking toilet bowl. But that was the cool thing, though.
No, I loved it. Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, we went there thinking like, all right, we played a pretty good game. We did the best we've ever done before. We went under par in the second on the back 9.
Yeah, with 2 under.
We're only +4 over 4 in the first. The front 9. So we're like, all right, we're in the contendership. Because we don't know what people score. I always think people in tournaments always fudge their fucking scores and act like dickheads and like, oh yeah.
Well, I know my dad's team was playing even though he couldn't play. And right. I know they always shoot. Yeah, they always shoot like as a team, like anywhere between like 7 and like 12 under. So I know they shoot pretty well. And they shot like 8 under, and the winners were 13 under.
Yeah, 13 under.
Yep.
It's just crazy. But hey,
Yeah.
we're not at that level. So, as JV just mentioned to you, we got last place. We got the toilet. But I was so happy to fucking get something.
Hell yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
we
yeah.
paid,
And,
we paid $120, right?
Yeah,
$120
yeah.
for that.
120. We got a T-shirt. We got like a polo to golf in. We got
we got a
the
free
last
round of
place
golf.
trophy. Free round of golf. We got food.
Yeah.
It's a good deal. It's a great deal, actually. But
I want to get last place every year now.
But one thing I do want to throw in, we only got last place because it only counted people that actually turned in their freaking scorecard. Not every all like 30 teams or whatever it was actually turned in their scorecard. So
yeah, now they regret it. So next year, everybody's gonna turn in their cards.
Yeah. Yep.
Like someone's gonna put like 1 as their score.
Yeah. No, 1 would be a winner.
No. Fuck yeah, I'm fucking dumb.
They go in and be like, that guy cheated, but I guess he's the champ. He shot 0 on all the other holes.
Yeah, so
That
that's
didn't make any sense. I don't want to fucking stand golf. I barely understand what's going on half the time. I think I know. People think I'm good, but I'm not.
yeah. I thought we were good, but hey, guess not.
Yeah.
It was funny. We walked up there like, oh yeah, we're happy about this. Like everybody else that was there. The only other people that were there were like the people that did well. Everybody else that didn't do well, they left.
Yeah, they're too ashamed to even eat their
Right.
food.
They didn't want to eat it. They were like, fuck it, I'm out of here. Like, I'm too drunk.
Plus, it was like 100 degrees out.
Right. Well, yeah, that's the other thing we didn't even mention. That it was a fucking heat wave in Massachusetts, in Swansea, Massachusetts. It was fucking 100 degrees. And we braved it out. And I even posted a message on our Twitter of JV and I sucking it up there. And Mike Mills from BTT was like, dude, get the fuck out. What are you doing? It's like, hey, we paid for this shit ahead of time, so
Yeah.
we're
we were
fucking
committed.
going through it, man.
We were definitely committed.
So that was that, but let's get to our top 5. So since we're not doing the episode 41, which we'll get back to you next week, we have this top 5 of 1998, which is fucking the best year of Stone Cold Steve Austin's career. This is it. This is the best year.
Probably the best year of wrestling in my life.
Yes, I would agree with that too. So we're doing the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin. What better year for us to do a top 5? So this is it. And I know it's in replace of a regular episode, but it should be in replace of a regular episode because it's the best year of Stone Cold Steve Austin. So before we get into it, though, I also want to bring up that JV and I have started the Extreme ECW live cast, and we just released a new episode last week, episode 5, ECW Hardcore TV, June 1st and June 8th in 1993. JV, what's your thoughts on this show? How you feeling about that as we go through the career of ECW, the early stages of ECW?
I'm feeling better and better about it every 2 weeks that we record. So
I get so excited about it.
I'm starting to get excited about it. That's for damn sure.
It just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Like I think like heading into episode 3, episode 4 I was excited, and we just did episode 5, and the episode 5 was kind of to cover at least was kind of like oof. It's like they took a step back because they were like replaying matches and shit,
Which they do often because it's the era before DVR and all that shit. So they got to give recaps.
Yeah, but outside of that, I mean, it is getting a lot better. There's better talent. The talent's getting better. Heyman's presence is getting bigger and bigger, so that's huge. Yeah, it's because I never watched any of this. It's just very exciting to kind of see where it's going and how it morphs into the ECW that we remember. Because I don't know who the fuck remembers this ECW.
Yeah, they could be many people unless they lived in that area. They would remember
the fucking audience.
Or if they've already watched it, like going back and watched it. But why the fuck would you go back and watch it on your own?
Yeah.
The only reason I'm going back and watch it is because I'm doing a podcast for y'all.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I like the intro music.
Yeah, that's I didn't like it at first, but you put me over on it. I'm like, yeah, now it's fucking pretty cool. It's
Nah,
good music.
I could like play video games to it or something. It's weird. It's got a cool sound.
All right, so if you want to listen to JV and I talk about ECW on our new show, the Extreme ECW Livecast, that's available on the Book in the Territory Patreon feed at the $5 tier. So, Book in the Territory is another separate podcast that covers Southern wrestling like NWA, WCW Saturday Night episodes, going back from 85 up to this point at 88. They also do Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and they have a bunch of special edition episodes and all that. And they have this Patreon, patreon.com, where you give money to the podcast. And if you do it at the $5 tier, you can get more episodes of JV and I talking about ECW. So check that out. And with that said, let's get into our top 5. So, JV, I'll start you off. Orf. What the fuck's an orf? I'll start you off with the number 5. What do you
All
got?
right, before I get into my number 5,
Okay.
there's just one honorable mention I'd like to make. I know we don't usually do these, or we might.
Oh,
I'd
we've
strike
done
a
them.
little-
Well, we
other
usually
side.
do them after.
Oh well, I'm
Do
gonna
it first. Do it first.
Because I know you don't really like the. You weren't. You didn't feel too highly of it. It was like the campy, creepy Undertaker segments that we're getting in like the second half of 1998, as he's starting to form the Ministry, and when he crucifies Stone Cold Steve Austin. So they're like hunting each other on an episode of Raw.
Yes, yes, we talked about that. But you turned me, though.
I know.
You turned me later, but the earlier portion, I think, is what you're alluding to, where he was trying to embalm him.
Yeah.
That's
Trying
what
to
I was
kill
like, yeah.
Trying to bomb him alive is actually what he was trying to do. So that made my because I defended it so strongly. I forget what episode it is.
Didn't make your top 5, though.
It didn't make the top 5, but it was number 6, a strong number 6.
But with 1998, how the hell do you have a top 5? I mean, our top 5 is...
I expect it to be almost identical.
Yeah, for us, it'd probably be identical because we worked the show together.
Mhm.
But there's so much good shit in 1995.
All right. Well, I'm going to start off with my number 5 now that I got that honorable mention out of the way. Is Austin meeting Mike Tyson for the first time on January 19th, 1998. It was Monday Night Raw, and it was the night after Stone Cold had won the Royal Rumble.
How?
So Stone Cold, Vince McMahon's having a celebration because he's going to have, he's got Mike Tyson. She wants to show him off. Mike Tyson's super popular in 1998. He's the baddest man on the planet, and Vince has him because that's how Vince thinks. If he signed you to a contract, he basically thinks he owns you. So right now he owns the world's most dangerous man. So Stone Cold obviously, crashes that celebration. Vince is pissed, and it kind of coins the term that we see from Vince and clipettes that go back and shit. You ruined everything. So that gets my number 5 in my top 5.
Oh, man, that's a good one. And I feel like I missed on that one because I lumped that into something else. But yeah, that's a great moment. Yeah, and it's not just matches or one storyline, it is moments. So JV is spot on with that. That is a great moment in the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin, is that he meets Mike Tyson right there.
And that really got the ball rolling on the Attitude Era itself, because Mike Tyson was all attitude.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? And that kind of like pushed the ball, got the ball rolling towards the full blown Attitude Era. That was like, all right, we got our base now. Mike Tyson's here. Everybody's watching. Here's our chance. Let's take off. This product needs to take off now.
Yep, that's great. I mean, I've listened to many things on podcasts and shit, and read a bunch of shit, obviously, because it's consumed my life basically in the past few years. But Eric Bischoff has said that the moment that Tyson was brought into the mix with WWF, Bischoff said, "Oh, we're fucked now."
Wow, did he?
Yeah.
Great minds think alike.
Even when they were at like a hot point, he's like, fuck, they got Tyson, so shit.
You couldn't compete with Tyson.
Right.
No matter his dark history, everything that guy had going on, he was still Mike Tyson. People
Right.
were just always enamored and interested in the man that is Mike Tyson. They still are today. Mike Tyson could show up anywhere, and it's just everyone turns heads. The guy's like he's like a I don't know, he's like a fictional character, but he's not.
Right, he should be a fucking comic book character.
He could be anything. He's nuts. I love Mike Tyson. I'm a big Mike Tyson fan.
Yeah,
so.
and if you go back to the previous episodes, like episode 22, where we talk about him, episode 19, 20, he's on a good run of our episodes.
Yeah, this is specifically on episode 20.
That
so
was
if you
20?
want to relive, so Royal Rumble we covered episode 19. And then episode 20 we cover the night after.
Yep.
We pick up with the Raw after the Royal Rumble, which Austin won that Rumble, so it was kind of like a big deal. This is Austin meeting his next obstacle. Like, not only does he have to deal with the other wrestlers in the back room, now he's going to do a fucking Mike Tyson who's here.
Right.
Which is obviously the reason why Vince brought him in.
Yep. I feel like I need to say it now while we're at this point is that it was the memorable quote of Mike Tyson watching Stone Cold Steve Austin win that Royal Rumble. Back on episode 19, what we covered.
Stone Cold's my man.
Cold Stones, my
Cold
man.
Stone's my man. That's right.
Cold Stone Creamery is my man.
So, what do you got for your number 5?
All right, I have the bedpan. The bedpan incident. That's just something that stuck with me for all these years. And that's when I made my list, I was like, what do I remember from 1998 that, prior to doing these episodes and going back and watching everything, I wanted to focus on what was memorable in my mind as just, a 15, 16-year-old, 17-year-old. Those, actually at this point it's just a 15-year-old. But I wanted to look back at what that popped out in my head and what matters today. And to me, it's the bedpan was a huge thing because, it's that moment where Vince McMahon is weak and Stone Cold is so fearful at this point. Like, Vince McMahon is like, oh my God, this guy's coming at me. He's like Freddy Krueger. He's like a monster coming at me. And that's what Stone Cold was in the eyes of his opponents. Like, holy shit, I don't want this guy around me. He's a fucking monster. So Stone Cold could be wearing a doctor's garb and have the little fucking thing around his face and be like, okay, nurse, I have it from here, and turn around and have a fucking bedpan and whack the shit out of Vince McMahon and have that classic ding!
Yeah.
And just knocked his ass out. But it's not only that, it's like, I love that. That's a fucking great moment. Just that, 5-second thing is a great moment, but you get Mankind bringing out Mr. Sacco.
You're making me... That one didn't make my list.
It's there.
It should be.
You get...
But
you get the stupid clown. That's funny and all. I know this is all about Austin, and it is about Austin, but none of this happens unless Austin is the focal. So, without Austin, there's no Mr. Sacco. Mankind doesn't get brought up to the level he is unless there's Austin creating that fear on McMahon. So, it's definitely a major point in the whole scheme of things going forward. And it starts here, in our episode that we covered, in episode 34, where Stone Cold is, fuck Mr. McMahon. I'm going after him in the fucking hospital. So that's my number 5. JV, what do you got for number 4?
All right. For number 4, I have Bang 316.
Oh,
September 29th, 1998.
damn, that's a good one.
That was on Monday Night Raw, and we covered that on episode 35. So this one's interesting because it builds up basically almost the whole episode of Raw. It's Stone Cold essentially hunting Vince McMahon again. So Vince is, back to like similar with the bedpan like you just said, is scared, wondering like where's he going to come from. He's basically trying to kill Vince McMahon is what he's alluding to without actually saying it. Like he runs in the cops and everything. Cops are acting buddy with him. It's crazy. There's even like a segment where he has a knife.
Skit after
And
skit.
he's like, "Oh, you always ask us like what I hunted, what I hunt," and he pulls out a knife and shit and like blading it, almost like he's gonna use it on Vince. And then finally, he ends up capturing Vince McMahon, and he's just kind of like lugging him around like a hostage, brings him into the middle of the ring, and has a gun out, which is crazy because the whole crowd at this point is basically cheering for Stone Cold Steve Austin to shoot him.
Right, like it's like ancient Rome where you gotta fucking kill Gladiator. Yeah, kill him.
He pulls the trigger, and a flag comes out. It's a fake gun, obviously. A flag comes out, and it's
like the Joker.
Like the Joker, and it's 316. So
that
was my number 4.
And well, you're missing out. The other point is that Vince McMahon literally pisses his pants.
Oh, that's right. He does piss himself in that segment. Yeah, and he oinks like a pig at some point. At one point, I think too.
Yeah, earlier on. Yeah.
Yeah.
In all the other segments. Yeah. He gets told to oink like a pig, and so yeah, you got all that.
So what do you got for your number 4?
All right, my number 4 is one of the bigger moments. It's probably on your list. Maybe it's not on your list, but it's the fucking Zamboni. The Zamboni comes in. And yeah, it's not a huge moment overall, but it did make a big impact. And it's one of the most memorable moments of the Attitude Era. So I couldn't miss on that. That he came riding in with the fucking Zamboni. And he just busted through. I mean, there's not much more to say to it. We covered in our episode 2. We covered in episode 33, which was September of '98. We did this back in May of this past year, and it's a great moment. It doesn't lead to much or anything. So maybe I fucking ranked it wrong. But
no, because you know what? I'm gonna intervene here just so I can get in on the discussion.
All right.
And since that was your number 4, this was actually my number 3.
Okay.
So we'll just jump to my number 3 quick here, and I can just kind of piggyback off your comments here. So at this point, McMahon doesn't want to award the championship to Kane or Taker or something. There's championships involved.
Yes.
So he sets up a match for Kane versus Taker at the next pay-per-view, since neither of them technically got the job done that they were supposed to get done previously at, I think it's Hell in a Cell?
SummerSlam.
Was it SummerSlam?
Yeah. Now they're setting up for Breakdown in September.
Okay. So it was SummerSlam. Yeah, because it was Taker and Stone Cold at SummerSlam 98, correct?
Yep.
So basically, early in the show, after he shows up with the Zamboni, he ends up getting arrested. And you get another great quote, which you remember when you see it. It's in Clipettes, and it's "I ain't through with you, Vince, not by a long shot." Which
when he's walking to the back,
often.
He's walking through the back. Yeah. Not by a long shot, not yet, not by a long shot.
And I remember it as his hands being cuffed, so I think that's how it plays out. But the payoff moment of the Zamboni is he drives it to the ring, and then he actually jumps off the Zamboni over the ropes and into the ring. So, fucking great moment. So no, I think you ranked it right. It's my number 3.
All right, awesome.
So what do you got for your number 3?
Number 3 is Austin versus McMahon, April 13th, 1998. Going back to episode 23, where it's basically right after WrestleMania, and McMahon is gonna step up. He's gonna step up to Austin. He wants to get
this one where he's like training, like the whole episode.
Right, he's getting ready for it.
Yeah.
And
Pat Patterson, the Briscoes,
and tie his arm behind his back. Tie Austin's arm behind his back. So you have that whole thing.
That's right.
And that was like almost the beginning. I mean, it goes back to September of '97 where Austin stunned McMahon for the first time. But this is the first time that it's Austin versus McMahon back in April of 1993.
So that was the first time that they actually square off in a
Right. It becomes a big schmoz by the end of it all. But
naturally.
Yeah. But you have the whole build up throughout the night, and this became the night where Raw beat Nitro because of all this hype. This ended the 83 weeks of Nitro reigning over
That's a great moment.
over Raw. So a big moment there. It's Austin versus McMahon.
Like, what episode did we cover that on
episode
again?
23.
23, yeah. I might have to go back and watch that one again.
All right, what do you got for number 2?
What do we have?
Well, what's your number 3?
Number 2?
Number 3.
My number 3 was Zamboni.
Oh, that's right. All right, so you go to number 2. I don't want to go again.
Yep. So my number 2, I don't think I didn't put it this way. I remember when we recorded this, me not remembering this match, how this match ends, and after having covering it, I'll never forget how it ends again, and that's Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Dude Love at Over the Edge on May 31st, 1998, which we covered on episode 26. And I remember we had a lot of fun covering this one because it's a hell of a match. I think it was like over 4 stars, I think, from both of us. But, it was one of Austin's best matches, if not, definitely in his top 3 up to this point. Matches that we've seen him have in WWF.
It's fucking the best match I've seen. Like, at this point of what we've seen, this is his best match. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's fucking...
I don't know. Yeah, it's not mine, but for yours, it's your favorite. But it's in my top 3. Up to this point, up to where we're at now. So where we're at now in 1999, covering the show.
Yeah, well, the reason why I'm like all distraught about it is like I don't even have it in my top 5. So fucking.
Oh, you were pumped about it. I thought for sure it's going to be one or 2.
There was 2 other things that stood out. That I was like, those gonna go there.
And it is memorable. And the fact that my memory has since changed since we've covered it, the whole premise of the match was like Stone Cold. The whole purpose of the match is Stone Cold's. What was it? Vince McMahon has to make the 3 count.
Right.
Or something like that. But basically, what happens is McMahon gets knocked out, and basically Austin counts for the 3 count with McMahon's lifeless body.
Yes. Yeah, McMahon is like, I'm the only one that can make the 3 count. So Austin.
That's what it is. By this hand only.
Yeah.
That's the. Yep.
So Austin grabs McMahon's hands at the end and makes the 3 count.
Which was awesome. It was just the cap of a great match because one thing we've noticed, over covering, 96 through 98 is that Austin's best dance partner might actually be Mick Foley, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, whatever the hell you want to call him. But Foley.
Absolutely.
They just have great chemistry together.
Yeah.
And I guess one side note there is that this match actually, Taker I think acts as like an enforcer. He kind of comes down and helps Stone Cold from the Stooges and shit, and this basically helps put Taker in the title picture.
Right, we did a watch along for this match also, Over the Edge, and we were like, "What the fuck's Taker doing out here? The fuck, you just standing around here doing nothing?" But he did serve a purpose. It was to be that enforcer in that match. So yeah, that's a fucking good match. Like I said, I was like all distraught, like fuck, I can't believe I missed on that.
I know you loved that.
Well,
match
I love
too.
both. I love April and May of '98. The Dude Love matches, the whole Dude Love thing.
Well, Dude Love, the first one was Armageddon.
No.
What was it called?
The April pay-per-view, which is I'm drawing a fucking blank at this point, but Unforgiven, Unforgiven, and then Over the Edge. Yeah. And Dude Love was his opponent back to back, and he had become like corporate Dude Love at that point. So it's not the Dude Love from '97 where Austin won the titles with tag titles with.
But basically, if you want to go back and correct everything we're saying in case we're wrong, you can go back and listen to us cover this. And we also have the watch along on episode
Right.
26. So, what do you got for your number 2?
All right, so my number 2, and I start to get close with this, but my number 2 is Austin winning the Royal Rumble in 1998.
That should have made my list, and it didn't.
So I guess, good tit for tat. You got something I wanted in there, and now I said something that you wanted in there. But this is the real, this is the Royal Rumble where he fucking actually wins it. The last one he lost. He won, but he got fucked out of it, basically, because he cheated, I guess. Go back to our 1997 Royal Rumble watch along and take a listen to that. But Austin snuck his way into a victory there and got screwed, and then it led to a whole bunch of shenanigans with the world title picture in 1997. But this time, Austin is the hot guy in 98, and everybody knows he's going to win. This is Austin sitting on the top rope, looking at his wrist like, who's next? Who's next? I'm just waiting for guys to get into this ring for me to throw out. So Austin is the man in the 1998 Royal Rumble. This is his Royal Rumble. If there's a Royal Rumble for Austin, it's 1998. This is when he did it. This is what earned him a title shot at WrestleMania 14 in Boston, Massachusetts. This is fucking number 2 on my list. And with that said, you're going to know what my number 1 is based on what I'm saying here with number 2. But Austin kicked some ass in 1998 Royal Rumble. Cold Stone is the man.
So I think it's safe to say we probably both have the same number.
All right,
1.
so you say it and we'll talk about it.
All right, so my number 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 14, March 29th, 1998. And we covered this on episode
And a watch
42.
along.
And a watch along. And it's Austin winning his first championship.
Hell yeah.
Memorable. Mike Tyson as the enforcer, but somehow makes the 3 count, even though he didn't really.
It shouldn't have.
Yeah, we cover that. So if you want to go back, we do cover our thoughts on that in the watch along, and you'll kind of see, you'll hear from us the shit that just kind of doesn't make sense, which we usually point out when I watch alongs. We're good.
Like guys just hanging around the ring all of a sudden. Now he gets to jump in.
Yeah, he's not even doing his job half the time. But this is so like I said, I think it was my number 5 when Austin meets Tyson for the first time on January 1st, 1998 on the Raw immediately following Royal Rumble 1998. That got the ball rolling for the Attitude Era. Well, this is the pinnacle of the Attitude Era, probably like the peak. And according to JR on the show, he actually calls this the beginning of the Austin Era.
Yes, he does. Beginning of the Austin Era.
So, yep. But I think this was like the peak for the Attitude Era.
I would agree too.
Even though it had just technically started. But I mean,
yeah, well,
Mike Tyson is the enforcer. He punches HBK, which, I know Stone Cold for wrestling fans is the payoff. Winning the championship is the payoff. But the true payoff in this pay-per-view, if you're spending money, and let's just say you're not like a huge wrestling fan at this point, is Tyson punching HBK. Because people wanted to see Tyson get in action.
Right.
You know what I mean? They want
He
to see
didn't know what side he was on yet. Well, he was supposed to be on DX's side. And then he turns. Which is great. That's
and he punches HBK.
HBK's like, what? You're supposed to be on my side. You're supposed to be on my side. And Tyson's like, well, fuck you. Yeah. And boom. He's out. He's knocked out.
Fuck you.
So it's great. And then Shawn Michaels is gone for like 6-7 months, which is even better. Because Mike Tyson knocked him out for months.
And it does get bonus points for being held in Boston.
Yes, of course. Because, the bottom line cast team from this area, Boston, Massachusetts.
Titletown. We win championships.
And it started with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Legit, it did.
Yeah, really. Yeah, we'd been in a drought since the Celtics in 86.
Yeah, Stone Cold's our first champ.
Yeah, that was our first champ in fucking 12 years.
All right, so that's our fucking top five. I think that's our best top five that we've done over the past few years here. 98, 97, 96. Even though it's only been less than a year for us covering the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin here on the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. But this was our longest year of coverage, 1998. I do have to say. 1996 took us, I think, like 10 episodes. And then 97 was like maybe 15 episodes. And then 98 has been like 25 episodes or so.
Well, we had like whole episodes of Raw that were all Stone Cold, beginning to end, because they didn't really have any other developed superstars at this point. I mean, you had Austin, you had HBK, but he was a fucking wild card. You know what the fuck was going on with that guy half the time. Taker, you couldn't put on 24/7. He couldn't, because some people might take this the wrong way, but Taker couldn't be the guy. He's a top guy. He's
an attraction,
an elite wrestler. Yeah, but he's not a guy you can put on and I don't know.
He's not going to carry the mic.
I don't want to knock the guy. Yeah, that's the thing. He's not going to carry the mic. I mean, eventually now, where we're covering in 1999, he has the ministry and stuff, so he has this theatrics and the production aspect of his character that are really kind of, giving him his momentum and I don't know, kind of making him look like a top guy. I don't want to say look like because he is a top guy, but I don't know the word I'm looking for. Do you know the word I'm looking for?
He doesn't have, I don't know, the it factor. I don't like. Well, he's up against guys like The Rock and Stone Cold who popping crowds, and Undertaker's never gonna pop a crowd.
Yes.
That's the thing. Like he's popping crowds after he goes away for a while. That's it.
Yeah, then he comes back because it's like, oh,
it's not gonna be
back, and you get this
when on a regular, April 1999 episode of Raw and Undertaker's music hits. No, it's not happening. No, it happens when he's gone for a while because he becomes that kind of character where, when
he's
resurrected. We like to see him every once in a while. Whereas somebody like Austin Austin and The Rock, they got something to say every week, and people want to hear what they have to say every week.
Punchline after punchline.
They got something funny.
That's my point. Is they didn't.
Undertaker has nothing funny to say.
Have these guys. Yeah, nothing. He's 110% serious all day, every day.
Which earned him a lot of respect in the locker room and ultimately earned the respect of wrestling fans to this point. So he's done it. He's a fucking Hall of Famer. He's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. But he's not the tippity top.
Nope. And which, that's why these episodes of Raw in 1998 were so Austin focused. I don't think there is any superstar that's ever had as many episodes 100% focused on him like there was like.
All right, so with that said, last night was the Raw reunion, and sometimes I hate the date in an episode, but this past Monday night on July 23rd, it was the Raw reunion 2019 where all the stars were brought back, and it's kind of a weird thing. They've been doing this year after year, it seems like, at this point. And I think there's a reason why they did it this year is because of AEW starting to rise up a little bit. They're like, all right, we want to get some old fans back into our show, so let's bring back some old wrestlers and see if they stick around for these new guys we got. But that's another thing. But you had Stone Cold back, you had a lot of big guys back, and Stone Cold fucking kicked ass. Again. And
he was the only legend that didn't feel like a shell of himself.
I bring that up again because, somebody like The Undertaker who just came back recently, it's like, all right, you get the pop for the entrance, but then the match happens and it's like, But with Stone Cold, you get the pop from the entrance, he gets in the ring, he gets on the mic, get the pop all over again. And he didn't even have to give a stunner. He didn't give one damn stunner. And the crowd's still fucking like, yeah, man, this fucking guy's awesome. And that only brings back to the point you were saying, like, he's Monday Night Raw. He's Monday Night Raw. That's why people watch Monday Night Raw. So that's why this whole Raw reunion was ending with Austin as, like, the guy. Like, he's the fucking WWF spokesman. Fuck you, Hulk Hogan. You're not WWF anymore. Steve Austin is WWF. WWE, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, he is. He's the face. And that might have also been like a symbol of, because you hear the rumors now. Not to get into current product too soon.
Yeah,
I
we
know
wrap
gotta
things
wrap
up here, so we
but,
can talk about it now.
Yeah, but Stone Cold ending the show maybe was a way to kind of segment the rumors that the WWE was going to be going more Attitude Era focused, more mature audiences.
And he was swearing a little bit, son of a
Yeah.
bitch, and drinking beers. And I hope they do.
And in Taker's defense, Taker's never left.
No, he's been there the whole time.
So it's like he's not going to compare a pop he gets to Stone Cold. It's kind of it's harder to do. I don't think Taker, no matter how long away, how long he steps away, I don't think he could step away for 8 years and do what Stone Cold did last night without having this. Because Taker would need to set up a feud or something. I don't think he could just come out, like you said, spit a promo, and basically save the show.
And Stone Cold even went out there and said, "Hey, I don't even know what the fuck I was gonna say, but I came out." And Jerry Briscoe told me, "Hey, you're Stone Cold. You're Stone Cold." Like, all right.
Yeah. Briscoe was like the first one up to him to drink a beer. Briscoe loves it. You could tell they get along. Like they have mutual respect.
It was fucking great. The reason why we can talk about this is this special episode here that we're doing. So, hey, off the cuff here.
And it is Stone Cold related. And it was good to see him back. It's been over a year since he'd been involved.
And he looks great.
So it was good to see it. Yeah, he did. He looked really good.
I think he looks great because he wanted to do his show. He's doing his show that's coming out in August. So, based on listening to his podcast, I know you listen to his podcast. He's always talking about oh, am I in shape or not? Oh, I gotta stop drinking a little bit so I can get in the shape. Yeah. So he's very conscious of that. Like our boy Bill Burr. Bill Burr's always
two podcasters.
Bill Burr's always like, oh, I need to be in shape. So if I'm gonna do commentary, if I'm gonna do comedy rather on stage, if I'm gonna do my next hour, I gotta be in shape. I'm gonna go on a diet. Yeah. Stone Cold's the same way.
And what does Bill say? It's because Bill Burr says it's because he's a professional. You fucking act
you're gonna
like
be a professional, act like one. Get in the fucking shape. You're gonna be on camera.
Can't be stuffing your face with ho-hos. Grab a bowl of salad, sit back, and start shoving that shit down your throat.
Want to be on camera? Fucking get in shape.
Yeah, eat salad. Eat green stuff.
It's awesome. All right. So, let's wrap things up here. Do our bottom line wrap up here. So, this week, like I said, we went on hold a little bit, but we'll get back to our regular episodes next week on July 24th. With episode 41, we'll be covering January through February, leading up to the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And then the following week, we'll do episode 42, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. We'll cover that, plus the night after on Raw, and maybe the following week after that. We'll see how things go, but we'll be definitely covering the major steel cage match between Austin and Stone Cold Steve Austin. No, Austin and McMahon. Austin and Stone Cold, yeah.
There's no Stone Cold doppelganger.
McMahon and Stone Cold in the steel cage. And that's what we got coming up in the next couple of weeks. So we're running through the summer here, which scares me because that means I gotta go back to work. I know, you don't give a fuck because you've been working the whole time and everybody else has been working. It makes...
Yeah, I haven't had to take any I haven't been able to really take any vacation time for the past month, which sucks too. So I'm dying to use some. I gotta use some.
Fucking use it up, man. All right, so we do have some shout outs to some podcast buddies of ours, and we'd like to start first with Talking Taker. Talking Taker is a podcast like ours where we're breaking down the career of an individual, and Talking Taker does that with the Dead Band that we've just talked about. And we kind of shit on a little bit, which we like to do because the matches that we have with Austin and Undertaker haven't been the best, but Undertaker's career obviously is a fucking great career in wrestling history, probably one of the best, and Talking Taker likes to cover it. And they are now at this point up until June of 2004. They're at the Great American Bash, where it's going to be the Undertaker versus the Dudley Boys. But listen to Alex Dorio, who has just recently done a show with us covering two big matches from December of 1998 at Capital Carnage and Rock Bottom. So definitely go back into our archives and check that match out. But listen to Alex while he talks about what his show is all about.
Dead man walking.
Oh, hell yeah. What's up, Stone Cold fans? This is Alex Dorio, one of the hosts of Talking Taker. And along with my co-host and fellow creature of the night, Travis White, we are digging up the career of the dead man, one pay-per-view match at a time, on a podcast journey that's a lot like what you're listening to right now on the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. So if you're enjoying what Mike and JV are doing here, going through the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin, come check us out as we explore The Undertaker's 3 decades of destruction. We're right in the midst of the Biker Taker era right now, so you can jump right in or start over from the beginning and hear us discuss The Undertaker's side of the story from his many battles with the Rattlesnake, The Rock, Mankind, and more. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube, Spotify, and more. And you can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Talking Taker. Thanks to Mike and JV for letting us plug the show, and take her easy. What? I said take her easy.
All right, so definitely take a look at Talking Taker, where they break down the career of The Undertaker. Definitely a good show, and they've been going at it for a while, and they're going to be going at it for a lot long of a while, as we've talked about. And one of the things he said about our show is like, you guys are fucking pretty smart picking Stone Cold's career, because you'll be done soon. And we have about 5 more years to go doing his career. So pretty funny there. So check out those guys. And also want you guys to take a look at our buddies, the Booking the Territory with Mike Mills and his boys, Harder Body Hopper and Doc Turner, where they break down NWA, WCW Saturday Night episodes. At this point, they're at 1988, and they're covering March 26, 1988. And they drop those episodes on Thursdays. They also drop episodes of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and they are at episode 152 from December 24th, 1994. They drop those episodes on Sundays. And as I said at the beginning of this episode, we are now part of the Booking the Territory Patreon feed, which is at patreon.com/Booking the Territory. And you'll be able to find us, JV and I, talk about ECW Hardcore TV on our show, Extreme ECW Livecast, where this past week we dropped episode 5, episodes 9 and 10 of Hardcore TV, which is June 1st and June 8th of 1993, just a week away from the Super Summer Sizzler Spectacular, which we've been building up to. JV and I have been covering these episodes for a couple months now. We're starting to get excited for this show, Super Summer Sizzler Spectacular. So join us there on the BTT Patreon at the $5 tier for some more episodes of JV and I talking about ECW in the early days. And I just want to add one more non-wrestling plug. JV, you know all about this. This is our boy, Jay Free. This is Free Your Geek. JV, can you just give us a little recap of what Free Your Geek is all about?
Well, it's where you can geek out. They basically cover everything. A lot of areas of entertainment, specifically like video games, comic books. But I mean, Jay Free's the man. I mean, he'll interview anybody. He's awesome. It's anything that anything someone can geek out over, he'll cover it. But I know they mostly focus on like comic books, video games, current entertainment like Game of Thrones. I know they did a special
Stranger
on that,
Things,
Walking Dead, Stranger Things. So like if you're into that,
if you want to free a geek, free a fucking geek,
because everyone geeks out for something, and Jay Free's good at getting the geek out.
Now this is one of big supporters all along. Back when JV and I were doing the Hurricane Rana podcast, he had JV and I on his show, Free Your Geek, all the way back into 2006. And we've done episodes. So if you go back to his archives, you want to hear some wrestling podcasts from Free Your Geek, JV and I are on some. I know I did a couple wrestling episodes. JV, you did some non-wrestling ones, right?
Yeah, I did a video
Yeah,
game.
you did a video game one. I did an ECW episode with Jay Free on Free Geek. I did another wrestling one. So there's some stuff if you want to listen to more of us on Free Geek. But Jay Free's been at it for a few years at this time, and in the podcast world, if you've been at it for 3 years, you're up there. So
yeah,
Yeah.
he's good, and I hope I did him well. You kind of put me on the spot there.
I knew you could plug him. I knew you could plug him.
Yeah, any forewarnings beforehand. It's like totally catch me off guard at fucking almost 11
You're
o'clock.
good at what you do, JV.
But I hope I did Jay Free well there.
Hey, I wanted a break from talking. All right, guys. So you can also, spread the word about the Bottom Line Cast. Also, all the podcasts that we just talked about. We're all available on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify. What did I say? Podify? Podbean, Spotify, TuneIn, Google Play, Radio Public, and also the new one. I guess it's at this point now known as the #1 podcast platform, iHeartRadio. Yeah, we're on that now too, I guess. And whatever you're listening to, keep listening. But if your friends like to listen to something else, if you're like, hey, bro, I listen to the show, Bottom Line Cast on iTunes. Your friend's like, fuck, I don't have iTunes. It's like, well, fuck you. You got Spotify? No, I don't have that. Fuck you. All right, well, how about Podbean? It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, but if not, tell them just
just
Google
Google.
us, and we'll pop up, and we're on just basically.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Just Google. Who the fuck's gonna argue with no, I don't use iTunes, unless you don't have unless you don't have an.
When someone tells you that, I'm just like, they're like, oh yeah, listen to this on fucking Crackle or something stupid. I'm just like, all right, yeah. I just
Actually, yeah, that's a pretty good point. Nobody's ever asking oh, what platform is that on? Nobody gives a fuck. I'll search the fucking thing. I'll search it and I'll find it. I'm a grown up. I know how to use a phone. Alright, so we're on all that shit. Find us. Bottom Line Cast. Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. The Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. I guess you can find it all those different ways. And if you want to find us, though, this is pretty specific, though. If you want to find me on Twitter at MPRU83, MPRU83. You want to find JV, he's at John Van Damage. John with an H, John Van Damage on Twitter. And us on Twitter at Bottom Line Cast. If you actually do use iTunes, well, it would be great if you drop us a 5-star review. And actually leave some comments, because that would be cool too. Because we want to hear what you think. If you like us, tell me what you like. That makes us feel good about doing what we do every week, and all the shit we gotta do, hear from our wives, and it's nice to hear shit. So say you like it, you enjoy it, and that makes us feel good about what we do. We want to do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway, but make us feel happy about it. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, and we're out of here. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with episode 41, where we build up from Royal Rumble to St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Thank you guys for listening to this top 5 of 1998. I'm Mike Prue, along with JV. JV, I know you have nothing to say, so let's get the fuck out of here. So long!